Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Unstoppable Podcast. No matter where you are right now or what circumstances you face, lasting success is within your reach. Starring Ralph Graves Jr., author of the book Unstoppable. Ralph is a pastor, transformational speaker, and consultant. Follow Ralph on social media at Ralph Graves Jr. Unstoppable Podcast Wednesdays on USA Global TV and Radio. You are unstoppable.
Hey, everybody. How are you? My name is Ralph Graves Jr. Welcome to the Unstoppable Podcast. We are here on Global. We're here on USA Global TV and Network and Radio worldwide. We are here and we're excited just to be on this platform. We're excited to be on this platform today. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here with us, USA Global TV and Radio. Today's guest, my guest today is a longtime friend of mine. He is unstoppable. And I kind of called him last minute and he said, yeah, I'll come on with you, Pastor. And I have to talk to you guys about his story. He is truly unstoppable. My guest today is none other than Clyde Hughes. He is the CEO and president and chief editor of a publication out here in New Jersey called New Jersey Front Runner magazine, or digitalmagazine.com. He's going to talk about it. And his name is Clyde Hughes. Clyde, welcome to the Unstoppable Podcast, man.
Thank you for having me, Pastor. And I don't mind at all. Anything to help you out there. You've been a great friend, and you do such a tremendous job here. It's my pleasure.
Now, Clyde, tell the audience, tell this wonderful audience what exactly it is that you do, and then we're going to dive in because I want to talk about your passion. I want to talk about what makes Clyde Hughes unstoppable. What do you do, Clyde?
Okay, I am the editor of FrontRunnerNewJersey.com. That's the news and information website that covers African American and Latino communities and other communities of color around South Jersey. A little bit about my background. I am a longtime newspaper reporter. I've been doing that all of my adult life, and I was in public relations and doing freelance when I moved here to New Jersey to be with my girlfriend. And I noticed that there wasn't a publication in this area that covered the African American community. So I said, well, let me start a blog and see if there's really interest in traction in that. And now 5 or 6 years later, we have a growing audience. We're receiving grants and we're getting attention around the state. And I couldn't be happier, not because of it's growing, but people are finding that it's useful and that it's serving the community. And that's what I enjoy most about being involved with FrontRunner.com and creating this outlet.
Clyde, you said newspaper guy, man. Newspaper. I haven't picked up a newspaper And then what? At least 15 years, 12 years, man, maybe even
Tell me
20
about it.
years, you know. And I don't know if my friends throughout the world, throughout this global community here, are they still reading newspaper or not? So you've been in the press for a little while now. You've been
Yes,
in the
I've been
press
in
for
the
a little
press.
while now. You know, and let me ask you about the press, man. What's going on with it today? Are they people just trying to be first and not trying to be right? Talk to me about the press.
Oh, that's a long story. Well, the the problem is that, well, especially there's always been this urge to be first rather than be right, but it has been exacerbated by the internet. And I tell people all the time, the best thing about the internet is that anyone can get online and start their own blog in their own publication. And the worst thing about the internet is that anyone can get online and start their own publication.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
uh, so just trying to balance that with trying to weed out the credible actors, people who actually know what they're doing and they're serious about presenting the news and credible information that's factually correct, and guys who are just trying to sow discourse
yeah,
in this information. Sometimes it's very hard to distinguish one from the other. And I think we're still in the Wild West period
yeah,
when we talk about the internet in the information age. It's so eventually, like the Wild West was eventually tamed, the internet, the internet and information services on the internet will eventually be tamed, but we're not quite there yet.
yeah,
So that's kind of the challenges. We have people doing great things on the internet. I would like to consider Front Run New Jersey as one of those outlets that's trying to do it right, but there's a lot of bad actors
yeah,
on the internet as
yeah,
well, and we're trying to work and weed those out, or at least point them out to people so they know the information that they're getting from those particular sites aren't as trustworthy as other sites.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Well, Clyde, listen, Front Run New Jersey. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying that Front Run New Jersey has been very successful, and you're doing a phenomenal job. And those who are watching this program, I say, well, man, look, that Clyde, that's great, but I'm trying to make it now, whether it's in the press or whether it's in whatever business someone may try, you know, or someone may attempt to do, and they're kind of working through it. We know that there's some ups and downs, and there's some challenges, and this is about being unstoppable. Can you take about 2 or 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, to talk about a challenge that you had in your life that you thought maybe it would have stopped you from being or achieving who you are today? And how did you overcome that challenge, Clyde?
And well, I can take that many different directions. Well, starting just most recently with just Front Runner, you know, I knew where I wanted it to go, but I knew where I had to start because I work another job that pays the bills, that's news related as well. And I said, well, how long will I have to do this before I do Front Runner New Jersey full time? So you have to be patient, and sometimes it can be very discouraging. You wonder if you're just treading your wheels, and man, it just takes a lot of faith in God, a lot of faith in the community, and I guess that's been the main thing that has gotten me through. A Front Runner, with helping Front Runner get through the things that we're getting through, and just to show you, because just staying faithful to the process, staying faithful to where you're going. We were just awarded a grant from the New Jersey Civic Information Consortium that'll hopefully allow me to hire a couple of writers on a more regular basis to help us continue our growth. And something I wasn't expecting, but it happened. But that's an example when you're talking about being unstoppable and what gets you through. Sometimes it's just simple faith in the process, and faith that God is leading you in the right direction. And that's basically what I had. And I learned that from my parents. If I could just quickly talk about my parents and everything. And my mother is still living in Beaumont, Texas. My father deceased a little while ago, probably about almost 10 years ago. But I grew up a stutterer. I couldn't get out 2 or 3 words without stuttering and anyone understanding me. And they created a safe haven for me in my home to let me grow and to allow me to communicate. And I've always thanked them for that, because I don't know where I would have gotten that from if it wasn't for them. And it taught me that having the type of determination you need. And that's another thing. If we're talking about being unstoppable, you got to have a determination in the side. I heard this from another podcast. The definition of the side comes from the Latin root that means to cut yourself off from all of the options. So if you decide to do something, you have cut yourself off from all options except for that one goal. Wow. If you're separated from that one goal, you really haven't decided to do anything. So first of all, you have to decide to do it. Now, once you decide to do it, then you see other things fall into place, because you start to do things that coincide with you deciding to do this goal and this project. So you will see other things fall into place. You'll see yourself doing different things because you have decided to create this goal and to follow this goal and to reach this goal. So those are the things that have helped me, and those are the things that kind of carries me through the day and through the week. There's a saying by Aristotle, that says you are what you repeatedly do.
Right.
So excellence is not a moment, but a habit.
Wow.
And I remember reading that, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks, because you have these moments where you're saying, wow, this is great. And then you kind of backslide. But if you really are searching for excellence, if you're really searching to reach that goal, then it has to become habit. It has to become part of your daily life.
Well, Clyde, you really dropped some nuggets right there. And I have to talk about that decision, that deciding.
Yes.
I didn't know you were going to I didn't know you were going to come this heavy today. But that's the decision. I think a lot of us don't decide. I think a lot of us have good intentions.
Yes.
But decision and deciding is just what you said. It's surgical.
Yes.
It's deeper than just the intent of, I'm going to have a podcast or whatever. I'm going to build my business. I'm going to build my platform. That decision, I like what you said. It means to cut off any other thing, any other distraction, any other thing that doesn't coincide with moving us in the right way. And how many of you watching today have that kind of courage? And that kind of courage, I often say from the pulpit, you guys know I'm a pastor who said in the introduction, we are so in love with comfort. We are so in love with comfort that it's hard for us to make decisions or to decide, because once I decide, then that means I may go through a lean period where the check is not coming. Right. I may go through some lean times to where I'm not eating out 5 times a week.
Yeah.
I can only go out once a month.
Yeah.
I don't have 300 channels to stream. I can only get one network,
Mhm.
but to get to that ultimate goal, and why are we doing it? Are we doing it to reach comfort? Or are we doing it to fulfill a God-given purpose in our lives? And I
Yes.
tell you, man, that I'm going to be using that, man. That deciding, I might have to do a whole show on what deciding really is, because I think
You know,
a lot of us live in the realm of great intentions.
yeah, and I think people don't understand what it means to decide to do something. But
Yeah,
once you understand what that means, because like I said, that was one of the most empowering things for me. Once I understood what that means actually decide to do something, and mean that you decide to do something, it was really one of those life changing moments.
yeah,
So once people learn that, the definition and learn what it means to decide, it can be powerful. It really
yeah,
can.
yeah. Let me ask you, man. Let me ask you a question, maybe a little bit off that deciding thing. We're gonna come back and do a whole
Sure.
podcast on decide on what that is. What can you recall a pivotal moment in your life? A pivotal moment in your life that changed the course of your life. Maybe back in Texas, you wanted to do something else. Was there a pivotal moment that drove you to the press, drove you to do what you do now?
Yes, I can point definitely toward that end. I was living in Beaumont, Texas, and all of my family lived in Texas in this small area, Southeast Texas. No one dared ever move out of that because everyone had that. They were, and I can't argue with my family because most of my family still live in that area. So, and they're comfortable and they're happy. And I was job hunting, and I was offered a job at the Toledo Blade in Toledo, Ohio. And man, the difference between Beaumont, Texas and Toledo, Ohio is night and day.
Wow.
And I had to make a decision. Do I accept this job, or do I stay in this comfort zone of Beaumont, Texas, or move to Ohio where I knew absolutely no one? No one, didn't even know my coworkers and everything, and I said to myself, if I'm gonna do something that with my life that I say I want to improve, I want to take that next step. If not now, then when? So I decided, and it was again putting that faith in God, putting that faith that He's leading me in the right direction. And I said, yes, I'm gonna go and work at this other newspaper, this much larger newspaper, and I'm gonna have faith that I'm gonna be able to succeed there, and I'm gonna be able to start a new life there. And it was completely out of my comfort zone. Yeah. And I stayed there for 18, almost 19 years. And I never regretted it ever since. And still till today, it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Wow.
And this comes absolutely not knowing if it was going to work out or not.
Yeah. Is it safe to say that who we really want to be and the success we want to achieve, is it safe to say that it's outside of our comfort zone?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think and I would tell anyone to this day, just from my own personal experience, if it's something that's outside of your comfort zone, go for it. Because that's where you're going to experience your biggest growth. That's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to expand. And that's where you're going to discover things that you didn't even know about yourself. Yeah. And that's going to come outside of your comfort zone. So absolutely.
Somebody listening right now, whether it's right now or whether they listen to the recording, you're at a decision. You're at a pivotal point in your life to who you are versus who you want to be. And a lot of times who we want to be is on the other side of that curtain that we call fear, which really, it's what do we say? False evidence appearing real. And we just want to encourage you. I want to encourage you, the host of this Unstoppable podcast. If you want to achieve and be who God called you to be and making an impact in this world, however you are designed to make an impact in this world, remember you were put on this planet for a specific job. Now, you may not have been raised and someone told you that, but God designed you exactly how you are, your height, your weight, the color of your skin, where you were born, this time, this age. I heard someone say, 100 years from now, all of us will be gone. Yeah. All of us will be gone. And you and I and Clyde and the listeners and the viewers, we are so lucky to be able to be spending our time here together. Now, since we're here together, I want to encourage you to be all that you were called to be, to reach your full potential, to find your purpose. And like our dear brother Clyde just said, it's on the other side of that comfort zone. It's on the other side of fear. You're going to have to make a pivotal decision, in your life. And don't be afraid to take it. Don't be afraid to take it. Clyde, let me ask you this, brother, man. You're giving me so many nuggets today, man. Thank you for actually carrying this podcast today, man. You're amazing. Let me ask you this. Who has been the most influential person on your journey and why? We got about 5 or 6 minutes left. Tell me who's been the most influential person on your journey and why, Brother Clyde.
I'm going to start with my parents. I mentioned them before, and they grew up in the segregated South in Beaumont, Texas. Both we grew up a poor family, can barely put two nickels to rub together. Yeah. And they never made us feel that we were poor. Matter of fact, the first time I felt that I was poor, I was in high school.
Somebody had to tell you.
And kids were joking around and they were saying who was rich and who was poor, and one of my classmates put their hand on my shoulder. Oh, well, you're the poor one. And I'm sitting there. I'm not poor, am I?
Yeah.
I had to think about that because my parents never made us feel that way. They always made us feel that the world was open up to us. And I know a lot of parents that don't sometimes circumstances get you down and they don't relay that message properly to their families. But I am so thankful I had the parents that I had to guide me and make me feel the way I feel inside, regardless of my family's circumstances. And I mentioned to you earlier in this program, they're my heroes. They're the reason I'm here today.
Yeah. Clyde, one final question, man. One final question, and we're so glad to have you on USA Global TV and Radio, man. Thank you for being on this platform. This is a lighter question, but I like to ask everyone, all my guests, this question. If you could have a billboard anywhere, where would it be and what would it say?
If I had a billboard, it would probably be on I-95 or 76. Is that the busiest intersection? And it would say Clyde Hughes says trust in your abilities and believe in yourself and God, because just those things will carry you a long way. Believing in your faith and also believing in yourself and your abilities. And the reason why I say that, because it took me so long to believe in myself. And I look back at it and I say, I wish I would have done that earlier. I wish I would have done it earlier, but I didn't quite believe in myself that I can do it. So I tell everyone, matter of fact, I'm speaking at an event on Saturday at WHYY for this a men's in the media conference. And that's going to be my message. Believe in yourself. You may not be in the profession yet, but you got to believe in yourself first and foremost, that you can do it, that you can acquire the skills, and that you're smart enough and you're intelligent enough to make a difference.
Well, thank you, Clyde. Thank you. Clyde, well, ladies and gentlemen, Clyde can be found, and all his work can be found at frontrunnerNewJersey.com. Now, you may not be from New Jersey, but you can still find him.
Still click on
FrontRunnerNewJersey.com. You can reach out to him and talk to him about his story, and maybe you might have a column you want to put in there, and Clyde and his editing team will run it through and maybe publish you in that publication. Clyde, thank you for being on here today. Thank you so much for taking out your time. And guys, thank you for taking the time to watching or listening to this program here at USA Global TV and radio. You could be listening to anybody else. You could be watching or viewing anything else. But the fact that you are supporting this network and supporting what we're doing here, I think it's awesome. And thank you for that. If you haven't got a chance, go over my website, RalphGravesJr.com. You can pick up a copy of my book, Unstoppable: 7 Universal Laws That'll Change the Way You Look at and Think About Success. And we have so many other products that we'll be posting there. I'm available also to speak if you want me to speak to you and your group virtually or in person. Just reach out at RalphGravesJr.com. My email is simple: RalphGravesJr. RalphGravesJr.com. Ralph@RalphGravesJr.com. I said it's simple, but I can't even tell you it myself. Ralph@RalphGravesJr.com. Guys, God bless you, and we'll see you next week. And let's remember, let's be unstoppable together. God bless.